Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 99 Days Live Coaching. Right. So happy to see you again today. And before we start the topic of the day, do let me know which country are you from. If you are from Malaysia, give me some likes. And if you are from Singapore, give me some love. And before we start, do help me to share out this live to your friend or your loved one because I do believe that the topic of the day we are going to talk about stress. As in, during this pandemic, we heard a lot about depression, we heard a lot of suicide and even mental health issue, right? Yeah. So let's get started. So today I'm going to share with you this 2R1F method to turn the stress into strength. And we all know that in this perceived world, stress is unavoidable, okay? This world is full of ongoing worry, change, and a lot of uncertainties, be it in our life, our personal life, our entrepreneurship journey, or even, your career, the government, the politics, or even the countries, the whole world, right? So you have to get used to it, and altering your approach to stress can actually yield positive effects, okay? And ultimately, in order to live a stress-free life, you need to build the courage to let go of your conditioned perception of reality and focus on what you can control in the present moment and let go of everything else. Let me show you this chart. I just found it, before I started this Facebook Live because I find it, is quite related to the topic of today. So when you actually stress out yourself, this is what happened to your body itself in terms of short term or even long term. So let's look at the long term, okay? So you might actually get a very tension headache or even migraines. And it will definitely lead to kind of like mental health problems and serious heart problems. And even worse, it can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. And nevertheless, it could actually bring out this fertility problem as well, right? So let me start off with the first R of the day. The first R of the day is to recognize the stress itself. So for your information, being stressed itself is actually a mindset. It's all in here. So which means you have a choice. You are the one who decide whether you want to stress yourself or not. When you choose to recognize and understand that how much stress you feel is directly correlated to the importance of the activity. So do you actually find yourself, when you are stressed, you eventually, let me rephrase it. So when you are stressed because that task itself is very important to you, and therefore you find yourself very stressed out, right? So stress itself is eventually an indicator for you how much you care about that task itself. And you won't feel stress or worry if the activity just didn't matter to you, right? If it is none of your business, you wouldn't care and you wouldn't stress out. And once you understand that stress is just an indicator rather than a symptom of dysfunction or a cause of panic, you can react to it more rationally, right? So plus, most of the panics only last for few minutes, okay? Right. And let's go to the second R. Second R is to reframe the stress itself. Once you recognize the stress in the first step, next is to adjust your mindset. Our brains actually work better at the positive than a very stressed mode. When you are stressed or worried, your brains actually go into flight, fight or flight mode, so which limits your ability to think. If you're positive and concerned, then your brain actually turns to broaden and build. Okay, so if you're positive and concerned, then your brain turns into broaden and build thinking, which allows you to process more possibilities. Then the mental shift actually will allow the feeling to be activating rather than paralyzing, right? So the third one is the F, to focus on what you can control, right? Whatever you focus on and put more energy into, you are going to get more of it and win your life. One of the most positive things you can do when faced with worry or even anxiety is to remember that you can affect and what you can't affect, all right? Many people spend time feeling bad about things that simply can't change. Take a pause, list out all your stress by asking yourself these two questions. First, what is within my control? And second question is, what matters most to me and what can I do about it? Okay. So within our control are eventually our own opinions, our attitude, our dreams, our desires, and our goals. We control how we spend our time and what books we consume, how productive we are, what we eat, the number of hours we choose to sleep, and who we choose to spend our precious time with. And one other thing outside our controls is everything else, right? The family you were born into, how life's event unfolded, and whether the economy as well as other people, those are the things that which are outside our control. Trying to control or change what isn't within your control will only drain your energy and leave you in torment. What you can control is how you perceive a situation, how you react to it, and how you respond. This will begin to solve the stress and move you toward your goal. And let me recap the 2R1F. So R is to recognize the stress. Once you recognize the stress, reframe the stress itself. And lastly, focus on what you can control. And that's all I have for you today. See you tomorrow.